What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. I hope you all had a blessed and fun Easter weekend. I know I did. I ate a lot of steak, a lot of shish kebabs, and baked beans. My mom makes the best baked beans, man, I'll tell you what. Anyways, I was going to live stream it, but I decided not to. I just wanted to relax. But I hope you all had a great weekend. So today we are going to be talking about a topic a lot of people have been asking me, believe it or not. How do COs get, new COs or veteran COs, correctional officers, get treated by inmates? What to expect when you walk into a prison for your first time working there, okay? Now, I don't know too much about COs, but I know plenty about inmates, and I'll tell you what. Okay, first, COs are correctional officers. They are police that work inside the prison or jail. Correctional officers, deputies, whatever you want to call them. Now, I don't know too much about the COs, but I do know that how inmates act, and I'll tell you one key thing that inmates can definitely tell, especially prison inmates, because they've been around a little bit. You know what I mean? You can definitely tell who is a new recruit, a rookie, and who's not. Okay, and if you ask me, the first couple weeks of you becoming a correctional officer, if you ever chose to take that career path, the first couple weeks are your most important weeks, man. It'll make or break you, okay? And honestly, I'm gonna tell you this straight up. It's not like this everywhere, okay? I've been in a few prisons in the state of Virginia, and it's not like that in every prison. Like how I'm gonna tell you, there's either a very firm respect for correctional officers, meaning like inmates won't do stuff around the correctional officers, or they'll respect them and they won't belittle them or harass them and stuff like that. In other compounds, man, they just completely mentally degrade you, and they will make you or break you, okay? First piece of advice to anyone that happens to go down that crazy path of career choice is you better have a strong mind state. That's right. And if it's your wife that's becoming a correctional officer, you might want to think twice, man. For real. Because those guys, man, I'll tell you what, when they see women correctional officers, they just jump on them like white on rice, man. I'm talking about mentally degrade them, vulgar language. I'm talking about sexual stuff in their cell, knowing that correctional officer is going to walk past the window or door and see it because they have to do rounds and they have to look in the cells, okay? So just keep that in mind to all the husbands that are letting their female partners choose that career path. You better be prepared for that, okay? And if she says that stuff ain't happening, don't believe her. Don't. She's just trying not to start drama with you, but that stuff happens. Now, like I said, your first couple weeks are very important, man. Inmates will be able to read you like the back of their hand, okay? They'll sense it's just like an inmate. They can sense weakness very quickly, man. And if they smell it, sense it, they're gonna take advantage of you, bro. Okay, let's say, this one compound, and believe it or not, this was the worst I've ever seen inmates treat correctional officers in my life was in a low-level prison. But that's probably because they're all about to go home. You know what I mean? They don't care, man. When you're in a high-level prison, well, I'm going to get to that, but low-level prisons, okay, they usually don't typically have too much time left, especially in the prison that I was in that was based upon re-entry programs in that prison. That means they were getting people ready to go home. But some of them on the other side of the yard were doing a lot of time. But in this case, man, I'm talking about every CO except for maybe a lieutenant or a captain that came around. And those are higher ranked correctional officers, lieutenants, captains, sergeants, majors. They respect them kind of a little bit because they got their stripes. They can do whatever they want with you, man. They'll lock you up in the hole forever. You know what I'm saying? So for some reason, the higher rank that inmates see, they tend to show a little more respect towards them instead of these foot soldiers, the corporals and stuff like that, the low-ranked correctional officers. Now, let me just say this. This compound, St. Bride's I was in, I'm talking about, man, they mentally messed these people up. We would see people join the job and quit within 3 days. We would ask the lieutenant, bro, what happened to so-and-so? He'd be like, he's gone, man. Y'all broke him. I'm telling you, man, inmates, the majority of them, in this compound were saying the most awful things to these people, man. Look them dead in their eyes and tell them words that I could never say on YouTube. I'm telling you. Stuff on the streets that could get people killed. You know what I mean? And they don't care. They'll look you right in your eyes and say it, man. I'm talking about some of the worst stuff. Now, that's something that you gotta be ready for if you choose that path, man. You gotta have strong mental mind state. Just like if you're doing YouTube, all these comments I get, man, holy crap. You know, if someone said half that stuff to me on the streets, I honestly don't know what I would do, man. Over a period of time, that stuff gets old and you'll snap. And I've actually seen correctional officers snap, for real. They don't snap as in like fighting you, but they'll snap as soon as they cuff you up to take you to the hole, and then they'll do whatever they got to do on the way to that hole. They'll make sure that that trip to segregation is a rough one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, strong mind state. If you ain't got it, you ain't gonna work there. If you don't like seeing naked men doing sexual things, you know what I mean? Like blatantly sexual things for you to see, I wouldn't suggest that, because people are filthy in the penitentiary, man. That's one thing that it was very hard for me to get used to in the penitentiary, was being around a bunch of sick-minded men. They're like animals, okay? Animals, for real, that's what it is. They're like animals you see in a cage in a zoo, just doing the nastiest things. You know what I'm saying? It's just insane. That's one of the hardest things it was for me to cope with in prison, okay? It's nothing like society. Nothing like it, man, I'll tell you what. And so yeah, you gotta have a strong mind state. But now let's check it out from a higher level penitentiary point of view, okay? If you go work in a higher level prison, you're not gonna see too much of that, okay? You're gonna see these smarter convicts. They're gonna talk to you, kick it with you, try to befriend you. But really, that's all part of their tactic to get what they need done, okay? I've seen my homeboys talk to COs, woman COs or nurses for months. I'm talking about 6-7 months, just building them up. You know what I mean? What's a word? Grooming them to do what they want them to do. Okay, they'll sit there and say the most romantic love stories in your ear for 7 months. Tell you how beautiful. This is mainly for women COs. Tell you how beautiful you are. Something you never hear from your husband at home. They'll tell it to you 3-4 times a day. Every time they see you, they'll give you that sparkle in their eyes. They're walking past you, and they'll just say, man, you were just absolutely beautiful, girl. For real, you make my time easier in the penitentiary. You know, stuff like that. And then women, man, they fall for it. They fall for it. They think that they really do. They're really falling in love with these inmates. And that's when, after about 7 months, maybe shorter or longer, you know, they'll get these COs to do stuff. And that's how it is, you know. I mean, you see it on the news. One of these COs not too long ago was coerced. That word's always been hard for me to say, man. To break them out of prison. I don't know if y'all saw it on the news, but it wasn't too long, but it happens all the time. Now, it's different for men COs, okay? Men COs, a lot of them want to be cool. They don't want to look at themselves as a police. They don't. They want to look at themselves as just my job. I don't really want to be here. I'm just trying to make money, so I'm going to befriend these inmates and not show them a hard time. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know, I love COs like that. They don't really take it like a cop perspective. They take it like it's just my job. You know, I'm going to kick it with the inmates just like I am an inmate or something. You know what I mean? And those COs, they pretty much have an easy time working. But then, you know, temptation's going to come their way. You know, I've seen homeboys do this too. They'll be all buddy-buddy with this male CO for about 5-6 months. And then all of a sudden, that inmate's going to come up to him like, bro, look, I know we've been kicking it for a long time. You know, we got a little trust going on here. Look, I'm trying to give you $500 cash. And the inmate will straight up flash him $500 cash. He said, man, just bring me, bring me someone's cell phone. Bring me, some Black and Milds or some anything, you know what I mean? Once or twice a month, man, that's all I need. And, you know, sure enough, these COs, man, you know, they're not getting paid that much. They really ain't. I'm getting paid more than a CO, and I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about, you know, just working. These guys don't get paid much, and they're working long hours, and they get disrespected all the time. $500 every 2 weeks from an inmate just to bring in some bullcrap into the prison system is something that seems very reasonable to them. Okay, they're really thinking about it, and then once they do it, they're hooked. You know what I mean? They keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it until they get busted. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So yeah, if you got a weak mind state, correctional officers, you ain't gonna make it too far, man. If you're gonna be one of those cop guys, you're either gonna be a cop or you're not. You know what I mean? It's very hard for me to truly explain how inmates work when it comes to correctional officers because, I've seen so much stuff hit the fan. Okay, I've seen inmates when they get in trouble, they'll drop dime on that correctional officer just like that. You know what I mean? I got to work on my snap. I broke my hand, so I can't really snap too good. But yeah, they'll drop dime on them correctional officers just as quick as the correctional officers will drop dime on the inmates. That's right. So you ever wonder how cell phones and stuff like that get into prisons? That's how it gets in there, man. Correctional officers. You know what I mean? So all y'all people that hate correctional officers, you better tell that to the inmates that are actually getting stuff from the correctional officers. And just like, everybody has a different point of view, man. You know what I mean? You can be a super cop, a super correctional officer, or you can be a laid-back one, okay? But when you become a laid-back cop or a correctional officer, you're putting your job and your career on the line. And that's just something that you're going to have to worry about if you happen to get into any kind of dirt or be slack on inmates and stuff like that. And you also got to remember that if you're too slack on an inmate, they're going to carry you, man. I remember this one CO that I used to kick it with and just shoot the bubble every time I walk in the block. But, well, bro, drink my coffee, say, how's life? How's life out there? Any new PlayStation games and stuff like that? And, and this guy was so cool, man. I didn't care. As soon as he was on shift, man, and the gate, see, there was pods, okay? And you couldn't go to certain pods. But if the door's open during chow, man, I'll be running around the whole compound. That's right. Not the whole compound, but that side where all the pods are. I'll go from pod to pod, and I'm not supposed to be in there. That's called a security risk. I'm not even supposed to be over there. Those aren't any of the inmates I'm supposed to be living with. But I don't care because this dude, he don't care. But, there's going to be times where them COs, they're going to care. They're going to flip up on you. They're going to flip on you, and they'll become a super cop out of nowhere. They might have a bad day or something. And next thing you know, you're going to the hole for going to an unsecured area, what you've done dozens of times, but this CO that you thought was cool just had a bad day. So, I'm tired of you carrying me, man. I'm locking you up. So you never know what a person's going through in their mind. That's another piece of advice for an inmate as well, man. Don't get too comfortable with these correctional officers. They'll flip on you on a dime. Same with your homeboys. So anyway, yeah, that's a little bit of information I got for, inmates and correctional officers, There's a system, okay? When you're in a lower level prison, you better be prepared to get degraded. That's right, superly degraded, because these guys are about to go home, they don't care. Okay, they're back in the street mind state. They ain't even thinking about prison no more. They're getting ready for the streets. So what does that mean? They're going to just disrespect you all the way around. And women, please be prepared to see some filthy stuff and be mentally downgraded. I'm talking about, yeah, but some girls like that. Some girls don't ever get that kind of stuff at home, so they want it. You know what I mean? That's how, I never understood that when it comes to woman COs. I always wonder, what makes you really want to work here? They gotta like it. They gotta like this stuff. You know what I mean? They gotta like being talked to like a, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I gotta watch my words. But yeah, it's how it goes, man. It just depends on what level prison you are and the inmates, if they're veterans or not, if they're about to go home or if they're doing life. Okay? People get manipulated all the time. COs and inmates and people out here in the streets. It's very hard to break down people's mind states sometimes, but when you've seen a lot of it, you know the drill very quickly. Anyways, that's about it. I'm about to drop a video on Patreon. If you haven't went to Patreon and checked out my stuff, I'm dropping the very first video today, and it is going to be graphic. Yes, it's going to be a graphic tattooing story of when I went to the projects. Whew. Anyways, until the next time, check out all my new merchandise on whatchamacallit, Teespring, man. I got socks, mugs, t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, tank tops, leggings. You name it, go check it out, man. It's in the description. And also check out the Patreon, my Etsy page for the artwork, and as well Instagram and Twitch. I'm always gaming. Until the next time, man, I love every last one of y'all.